So if you want to pick your fantasy team based on who's the best at mewing, it would be... This is All Sports All the Time, episode 28 of season 2, and we've got Parker Wolf with us this week. What's up, Parker? You look a little different.
Yeah. You know me, always changing.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. For those of you listening, it was a joke. For those of you watching, you know it's not Parker. We're joined by F1 expert Bennett Lapp this week.
Okay.
Welcome, Bennett.
Well, thanks for having me, Owen. I would not consider myself an F1 expert, though.
What would you call yourself, though?
Whatever you say. An F1 follower.
Okay, that works. He also happens to be my younger brother, just happenstance as well. So the F1 season is starting very soon. We're in kind of a downtime of the major sports. Football's over, baseball's just starting, basketball, NBA is just like in the middle of their regular season. March Madness hasn't started yet. So we're going to talk about F1 because it's a sport that is on the rise, and also Parker and Luke weren't available this week, so F1 it is. So yeah, the official, like the first race is in what, 5 days?
Yeah, I think so. But it just had a recent test. They have three. The most recent one was Friday, 23rd. Yeah.
Okay. The season officially begins on March 2nd.
Yeah.
Like the actual, okay. Yeah, cool. Fun fact, both races will take place on a Saturday for the very first time. You know why?
Why?
Ramadan. Just learned that.
In like the Middle East.
Yeah, just learned that. Because, yeah, it is the Bahrain Grand Prix, and then they'll head to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So, they can't interfere with Ramadan. So, it starts on March 2nd, as we said, and the season will conclude in Abu Dhabi on December 8th. So kind of a long season, March to December.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many Grand Prix are there?
I don't actually know, but I think there's about one like almost every week until the last one.
Basically.
Because they're mostly on Sundays or Saturdays. That's the problem for me now.
Oh, actually, this year, okay. This year's F1 season will feature a record-breaking number of Grand Prix events, 24 races.
Ooh.
So, 24, the most that they've ever had.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Another thing is, like, most of the time the races are, like, 2 hours. So, I don't really want to sit through that whole thing. Usually I just watch the highlights. It's like, I'm not there anyway. And yeah, it's definitely shorter than like most other races. Like NASCAR's like 300 laps or something,
and they're just
circular.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about Formula One. It's way more. It's like there's like way more turns or action, and they're going like way faster.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Formula One?
Well, I like that. I like how they are able to like develop new technologies like for their cars. So like each car is different. So like Mercedes car will be like different than Red Bulls. But like so like last year, they were talking about like, so that's like top two, which is probably gonna be the same for this year, was like Red Bull and Ferrari. But like so like the Ferrari, like their car was like better at cornering, but the Red Bulls have like more straight line speed, so like on straightaways they're able to like pass up. But yeah, and that was just like interesting to watch.
So kind of like how, like in team sports, different teams will be constructed differently, where like they have different strengths. Like a baseball team might be better at hitting or better at pitching or better at fielding. Like their cars have certain capabilities that make them better at different aspects of it. Okay. If you were designing an F1 car, what would you prefer? Better turning, more speed, something else?
I'd probably say the straight line speed, because most of the time, that's where you make your passes. And there's DRSOs. So if you don't know what DRS is, it stands for drag reduction system. So like the drivers have like these like buttons and there's like specific zones where it's usually on straightaways. So like they can use it to like pass. It allows you to go fast. So,
okay. Yeah. I was going to ask that because I picked up a little bit about F1 over the years, and I have not understood the DRS zone at any point.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and you can't use it if you're like in front, only the person behind.
Yeah.
So, it gives the person behind an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So could you give everyone just like a preview of F1? If we're assuming we're now talking to somebody who knows nothing about F1, zero, and they're like, what the heck is going on? How would you explain it to them briefly?
Well, I'll just talk about what's going on right now, I guess. So like right now there hasn't actually been an actual race, and there's just been preseason testing with is like, so preseason testing is like a time for like the drivers and teams to like work out like things of their cars, and like because like they get like the new cars basically, so like the drivers have to get a feel for the new like stuff in their car. So,
Preseason.
They use that to they use it to like, figure out what's wrong. And they also like test how different strategies like different levels and like different tire compounds. So tire compounds. There are 3 types. So there's soft, which wear out the easiest, but like they have the most stretch to go the fastest. There's medium, which is in between hard and soft, and the hard lasts the longest, but you can't go as fast. So like, you don't have to fit as much if you have the hard tires, but you're not able to go as fast. So,
Okay. And how would you explain like the sport in general of F1?
Well, I could say the point system, I guess. So it's a weird point system. So like, if you get first, it's 25 points, and then second is 18, third is 15, fourth is 12, 5 is 10, 6 is 8, 7 is 6, 8 is 4, let's do it, 10 is 1. Only the top 10 people actually get points. And then also the constructors, like, so based on how their drivers do, at the end they'll get a certain amount of money, like, towards their cars and, like, up stuff. So, yeah.
So you want to get points, and then you also get money as a reward for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like Mario Kart.
A little bit. Actually.
I think that might be the simplest way to explain it to somebody who doesn't know. If they don't know Mario Kart, then they're screwed. But I feel like that's more likely. Where it's like, you first place, where you get 15, 12, 10, 8. It's kind of like that. And then you get more points based on where you finish. And, So, is there a...
Mario Kart 8, there's different...
What were you saying?
Never mind. I was going to say in Mario Kart 8, there's, like, different combinations.
Oh, really? I haven't played Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, you play solo. Yes, you have.
When?
You play Mario Kart 8 with the Martins.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't... The scoring was different?
No, there's different combinations.
Oh, I was just talking about the scoring. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. You get 15, 12, 10, then, based on where you finish, and that's how the scoring is as well. How many different cars will be in one race?
What do you mean? Like,
How many cars will be in a race?
well, so there's like 2 cars per team.
And
So it depends on the amount of teams, but how many teams there are. But I can tell you one thing. So Alfa Romeo has a new sponsor. It's Kick Sauber. So like, if you watched last year and you're confused that there's like a new paint job,
okay.
that like because they what's the like red, black, and white. So like neon green and black. So, and then
So like the whole branding is different now. Okay. Like if a team changed their jerseys.
Red Bull. Yeah, and then AlphaTauri is now all, which is like it's like Red Bull, but like different. It's so it's not like the Red Bull racing team, but Red Bull helps them. So.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So then the drivers specifically, how important is having a good driver versus a good car? Like what's the balance there?
Most of the time having a good driver is better than having a good car. Because like, I mean, obviously like Max Verstappen is like the best one. So like, even if he was in like a bad car, he could still probably race like top 3. But it's also important. Like, I think it's like good to have like a balance. So like, obviously like in any sport, like you want to have like some like a good player, but also like in like football, you want a bunch of good players, not just like one. So.
Okay. But like, yeah, Max Verstappen is so good that even with a lesser car, he could do well.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like most of the time, though, like up and coming teams like Haas a couple of years ago was like still doing like upgrades to their cars throughout the season. So like the drivers had to like adjust to that. And, like, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. What would you tell people about rooting for different drivers or teams? Do you root for drivers or do you root for teams?
Well, usually you like pick a driver you like. So like there's like a rookie or like almost like the personality. Usually like you pick the driver and then like just like the team on because you like the driver. But yeah, it just depends. Like I liked like Haas and Mick Schumacher because he's obviously Michael Schumacher's son. You know who that is?
Mm-hmm. I know the name, but
he's
you can explain to people.
Yeah, he was like a really good Formula 1 driver. Anyway, so like he was like a rookie.
That's an explanation.
What?
That was that's not really an explanation for somebody who doesn't. Yeah, he's one of the drivers.
What?
Yeah.
What is he? Michael Schumacher was good. I don't know a lot about him because like a long time ago.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know what was I saying.
You're talking about rooting for Haas and his history, yeah.
And yeah, after there's also the only like American team there. So that's what I was rooting for them. But yeah. Pretty much as long as you don't be a bandwagon and root for Red Bulls, then you're good.
That's where I was gonna go next. So if somebody comes at like, okay, with the NFL this year, there were a lot of people who were just figuring out like or just like actually started paying attention to the NFL because of Taylor Swift. And a lot of those people took to rooting for the Chiefs. So that was not taken well by other fans because Chiefs got a bunch of bandwagon fans. So if you're just picking up F1 and you were to start rooting for Red Bull and Max Verstappen, that would be kind of the same thing. As you'd just be rooting for the person who's been dominating. So, okay. There's also Ferrari. I feel like somebody who is coming in with no knowledge at all, they'd be like, oh, Ferrari, that's like a pretty popular name. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, Ferrari right now is probably going to be like one of the top 2 or 3 right behind Red Bull. Like they usually are. Their drivers are Charles Leclerc and Chris Sainz. So they're usually pretty good, obviously, but yeah. Us actually uses their car, like they use Ferrari's like base car.
They can use the same base car.
So, yeah, they use like same like chassis.
Yeah, and then they have their own like modifications.
I mean, like all of them are the same, but like yeah, they have their own words. Yeah.
Okay. How common is that? The teams will have like the same.
Also,
how common is that?
It just depends. I don't know. Most of the time, they're like basically like the same thing anyway. So like it doesn't really matter because like they have to follow like very specific like rules and like regulations for their cars. So
Gotcha.
it's basically the same. It's just like where do you put the specific like parts and like yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Ferrari.
Also, like a good thing to report would be like Mercedes. They're pretty good.
Okay.
A lot of people that Lewis Hamilton was like, he was like really good for a while.
He was the Tom Brady.
Yeah,
he just won all the time until Max Verstappen.
Well, kind of, yeah. And then like for a while it was him versus Max, and then Max started beating him because I think it was partially because of the car, but anyway, yeah. And then like the mid pack, like one of the top three, like people do like McLaren is pretty high up, and like Aston Martin, Alpine, yeah. So it just depends. Also, like you could do it based on the colors.
Yeah. You could do it any way you want, really. If you're, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Can you give people an underdog driver to root for, or potentially root for, that you think could really take a leap this year?
There haven't been many new drivers. At least like for like rookie one or like newer like Logan Sargent, like Hulkenberg aren't like good at all. At least, but like I think Lando Norris is gonna do better this year.
Okay.
He did last year. I think he had a few podium finishes, but yeah, I think McLaren is definitely gonna do better. Yeah, I don't know. There's like it's weird. Like most of the time, it's like Max Verstappen wins, and then like it could be like any combination depending on the race. So.
Yeah, Max Verstappen, and then the real interest is how everyone else falls.
Second place.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I would highly recommend that if anyone is interested in getting more into F1, or if you're just curious, do F1 fantasy, because it's very different than all the other fantasy sports out there, mainly just because it has to be, because like there's not enough drivers, where like in other leagues there's players that you can draft, but in F1 there's only limited options. So yeah, it's formatted differently. It's different than other fantasy sports. It's less work, which is nice for a lot of people. But yeah, we're doing F1 fantasy you haven't done it before, right?
I did it last year, but I started it late. So. Like I literally just discovered it last year. I was like, oh shoot, this is a thing, and so like I need a team, but like obviously everyone else has been doing it for like a month and a half.
Okay.
But this is my first time doing an actual like I made my own league.
Okay.
A little different.
They actually show on the F1 fantasy, they show the like dream team for 2023, which I think is really interesting. Where they just like if you had picked the perfect team with the budget that they give you, you would have had Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Alonso, Stroll, whoever Piastri is. I haven't heard of him. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys are
and then you would have your two teams would have been Red Bull and McLaren, and that last year would have been the perfect, like the most points you could have possibly gotten with that combination of those 5 drivers and those 2 teams. So I thought that was interesting. Just for people's information, last year those are like the top performers. So yeah. This year, obviously, Red Bull, Max Verstappen are going to be the top ones. I don't want to spend like forever talking about our teams because like people are going to take their own teams, but it feels like everyone should have Max Verstappen on their team, but he's only on half of teams. So I guess what's the strategy in not having Max Verstappen on your team? Like banking on like he won't win some races?
Well, he's also like the most expensive one, obviously. So like I think people were like thinking, well, if I don't pick him, I have a bunch of like mid-range like drivers instead of having like him and like people that are in like 10th place. So,
okay, they're banking on they can get like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, it's risky. I feel like I would if you have a guy who's gonna get 1st place. I feel like it'd be really hard not to take him, but that's just me. It's more risk averse. So yeah, we have similar teams, Bennett. We both have Max Verstappen, and then we also took Bottas and Albon. So 3 of our 5 are the same. So we're kind of rooting for the same drivers this year. So that's fun. I doubled up. Well, yeah. I doubled up Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. I feel like I don't know anything about F1, but I feel like that's like a strategy that seems good, is like stacking a driver and a team, because then like if that driver does well, that team does well, so you kind of level up your points with that.
So wow.
You want to hear mine? Or
I was just going to ask you if you could give people your if they decide to do F1 fantasy, what's some strategy for them?
Well, I doubled up on Red Bull and Max Verstappen, which makes sense because if he's going to win every time, he want his team to do that too. And then I did Fernando Alonso because he's like a veteran driver. He's usually like mid to upper
consistent
ranking.
And then I took some younger guys. I took Albon and Nico Hulkenberg because I'm just hoping that they'll do pretty good. Also, the budget made it so I can pick like the best people, obviously. And then Valtteri Bottas has been driving for a pretty long time too, so I was hoping it's going to be good. And I have Williams as well, which is new. Now it's Albon.
So you double up 2 of your
Yeah. Well, I could double up like first. I didn't have like third or the same.
Yeah. Okay. So F1 fantasy, I think really it really helps you like it gives you like rooting interest if you don't have any basis for rooting for anybody, which I didn't. But now I'm going to be rooting for my 5 guys because I didn't have any other reason to be rooting for them, but now they're on my team, so they need to do good, and I'll focus on them now from that. So, is there anything else that we missed earlier that you want to explain about F1? Anything that you've thought of that you're like, oh, they should know about this too?
So based off of the testing, like there's 3 days of testing. So based off of those, one has like created like a list of like what they think the rankings will be. So right now,
the rankings for what?
Right now they think Red Bull.
The rankings for what?
Like for like races.
Per races, like per race.
What do you mean per race? Like who the team they created rankings of who they think is going to do the best.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So like at this point, they're thinking it's going to be Red Bull first, obviously, and then Mercedes, and then Ferrari, then McLaren, then Aston Martin, then RB, then Big Sauber, then Alpine, then Williams, and then Haas. That could also help you pick the Zion team.
Okay. So that's like the projections. And how do you know how they do that? How?
Well, it's partially based off of like lap times. So like, for testing. But like once they qualify, it'll be a lot like more like not like defined. I guess defined. Like so, yeah, they'll like have a better idea. Because like not all like sometimes teams like don't want to show like their best during or testing.
Okay.
Like, just so, like yeah. But in practice 3 on Friday, Charles Leclerc got first. I'll just say the top 3. Then George Russell, and then Joe Guanyu, which is a surprise. He's for Albert, one of our teams. But yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a Kick Sauber is a team that's gonna also be an underdog, but it's gonna do better than some people expect. Because yeah, they have a veteran driver and more of a rookie driver. We'll see.
Okay. How do they? 2 drivers per team. What's the dynamic between the two? How do they work together during a race?
So most of the time, like, they aren't like near each other, like depending on the driver, obviously. But like sometimes, like they'll just like are like pass each other, obviously, just like they would at first. Like so, like sometimes it's like both Red Bulls in front. So like obviously they're gonna try to like beat each other because they want more points and stuff. But like, it also helps them like push to go faster. So like they're not just like, oh, we're close, so we don't need to like keep trying. But yeah, most of the time, I don't know. It just depends. Wait.
Yeah.
What's a scenario in which they like generally they're kind of just doing their own thing more often than not?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But then there are scenarios where
I'm building it out.
Okay. Gotcha. So generally they're doing their own thing. Okay. What's a scenario where they would work together and how would that?
So like sometimes if like there's like let's say like there's 2 Ferraris in front, right? They're like in first and second place. So like it's so like and like someone is trying to pass the person in second. So someone's in third, they're trying to pass the person in second to get in the second, right? So like sometimes to like protect the person in first, the person in second will like box them out and like go slower. So like they might lose their position, but they could pull them off for like a long time instead of just like passing, trying to pass the person first, they're trying to protect them. So yeah.
Gotcha. And do most teams have a clear 1 then 2, like, or are there some teams where it's like they're kind of the same? We don't really have one of these 2 who's like above the other one.
Yeah, for most of the teams, look, I like he said, but like, most of the time, obviously Max Verstappen is like the best one, Red Bull, but like also, Perez is like still really good. Like so, like he's won multiple times, like over Verstappen. But like also same with Ferrari. Like sometimes Sainz does better, and sometimes Leclerc does better. It just depends on like the day. Yeah, most of the time it's like usually the driver with like more experience does better. So like for like newer teams, like Haas, like Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg are the 2 drivers for that team. Most of the time Magnussen is going to be better because he's just been driving Hulkenberg. So
yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Are there any terms that obviously we're not going to go over all the F1 terms, but what are like 2 or 3 of the most common terms that will get used that people should know about?
Well, I already said DRS, so like that's obviously the big one, and then slipstream. So slipstreaming is where like one driver will like get behind the other one, and so like since the driver in front is like putting through the air, the other driver doesn't have to like do as much work, so they can go faster and then eventually overtake the other driver.
Also like Mario Kart.
What?
Also like Mario Kart.
Also like Mario Kart, yeah. Slip is. But But also, yeah, overtake is what they use for like passing, basically. I went over the types of tires. Oh wow, I'm trying to think of pole positions is like first place. I think it's first through third. I think.
Okay.
Is he getting first or first through? But yeah, I think that's. Oh, those times there aren't like around 7 now. All you did like updates. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Are you able to give us some predictions for the season?
Well, I think that obviously Red Bull is going to be the best this year.
Who do you think
And I
is going to
think-
finish behind Red Bull? Second place.
I think it's going to be Ferrari, and then Mercedes, and then McLaren. And the top, I'll just do top 5, and then probably Aston Martin. So like, I think that's going to be the top 5 because like, based off of the testing, the 3 days of testing, Ferrari and Mercedes have definitely looked the strongest. Besides Red Bull, obviously, out of those 5. And then McLaren and Aston Martin have also been doing pretty good. And there was an interview with Lando Norris. He was talking about how he thinks they're going to be just fine. So yeah. Also, like sometimes like something like random could happen, like their car could work or like something, yeah, like an accident, like a crash. So it just depends most of the time. Every race is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. There we go. What was the other? There's a race in Miami that I believe last year was the first time, or 2 years ago. It recently came to Miami.
They also did Los Angeles last year, I think, too. So,
Okay.
or 2 years ago or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
There's like they only come in the U.S. like one.
Yeah. That's May 3rd to the 5th. Now, this is just an idea. I think you should pitch this to Dad because he's also an F1 fan. I think that you guys should go there May 3rd to 5th, and then you're already in Florida. My graduation is May 10th. Lines up perfectly. So I think if there's ever a time for you to try to make that happen, it'd be this year, Miami, May 3rd to 5th.
Yeah. If anyone that listens to the podcast would like to donate money to that,
That's the
feel
main.
free to.
Yeah. How much is a ticket to an F1 race?
It's expensive. Well, I've always wanted to go. I'll have to look it up here.
How expensive? Let's see.
Wait, are you doing it?
Yeah. Official
I've always
F1
wanted to go to an
tickets.
F1 race.
Miami Grand Prix. Here we go. Sold out. Or no, the Grand Tour Experience is sold out. So there's
I don't care. I
different.
want to get like the base ticket. I don't even care if I'm like.
There's different like platforms of like
What's the
options.
cheapest one?
There's the Grand Tour. Well, I don't know. Okay, so there's 5. Which would you guess is the cheapest? There's start finish grandstand, turn 11 to turn 12 grandstand. Ultimate viewing experience is probably more expensive.
Turn 11 to turn 12 is definitely the cheapest.
Turn 6 and 7, and then first corner frenzy. Turns 1, 2, and 3.
Corner Frenzy is probably one of the expensive ones because that's like
Okay.
like most of the dash is, you know. Does it
Yeah.
say?
Oh, Ticketmaster. I'm checking on the 10 or the turn 11 and 12.
I think that's one of the cheaper ones. Only 6 and 7 are.
Oh, 10 and 12.
Yeah.
12.
This is great content for anyone who is looking to attend these, I guess. All right, the range we are looking at is about 750 to 950.
Okay.
Jeez, per seat. I think. Or is it per?
Uh,
Yeah, per. Oh my goodness.
Well, and do you know how much play?
tickets are?
This is why. Yeah,
Are there,
no. Yeah, this is just the
there-
F1 ticket, not like
Are there-
additional expenses. Holy
You would have to
crap.
Wired.
drive there, and then like go to a hotel as well, right?
Yeah, there's all sorts of other expenses that
Oh, it's gone.
go along with it. Good.
But it'd be nice to be rich because that'd be like pocket change.
You know what I'm saying?
This is
Get
crazy.
the best one.
Man, okay, so attending F1, at least in Miami, very expensive. So
It's a lot of people watch it.
holy cow.
Well, it's the same like that for like the Super Bowl and like other like sporting events. I mean, it's not as expensive, but usually you don't have to like fly there just to watch it. It's also different because like it's like a one-time thing. It's like they go like all around the world.
And it's the only one that's going to be in Miami. I think there's 2 or 3 in the U.S. this year.
It's like Los Angeles or like Miami, and that's
This year it is Miami, and then so Miami is in May, and then October 18th to the 20th is in Austin, Texas. And
Ooh,
then
yeah, I know about that.
they're also going to be in Las Vegas, November 21st, 23rd.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant by.
I really like how it
I
lists.
was yapping that.
It lists on the F1 site. It has all the different locations. It has for Miami. It says Miami venue Miami. Most of them it has the country, like it's got Australia, Japan, China, Spain, Austria, Belgium. It says USA for Austin, and then it says Las Vegas for Las Vegas. So I don't understand what the deal is with that. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. Takeaway, F1 races are crazy expensive. So maybe we'll just
it
stick
also
to
depends
watching them. Yeah. Last question that I have for you. What are you most excited for this year with F1?
I'm excited for a lot of things. Obviously, the start of the season is always exciting. Just seeing like where like teams are gonna place where. But I'm excited to see how Haas is gonna do. Just their teams setting out. But I don't know. Yeah, it's always interesting. So, are you excited for anything?
I'm excited for the guys on my fantasy team to see how they do, and try to win our fantasy league. So that's what I'm excited for, is to see how that goes.
I'm gonna win.
Okay, well now I have a recording of you saying that, and so if you don't win,
I use my money the most efficiently. Though.
if you don't win, I'm clipping that and sending it to you.
All right, you do that. You do that.
So
You do that.
I will win.
he doubled down. Now I have 2 clips.
Yeah, I will win.
Okay, 3 clips is enough. I won't send you more than that. Yeah, that's how I'm the most excited for, is fantasy.
Yeah. That makes it a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I would recommend that anyone do F1 fantasy, because it is very cool, but I've just never really gotten into it, and I'm excited to have a reason to be into it. So, yeah. Cool. And root for Haas if you're a proud American. That's that should be all of our default backup teams. Even if it's not your favorite, we should all of us in America are gonna have a little bit of rooting interest in Haas. Just because, that'll be interesting to watch. So, yeah. Thank you for joining, Bennett. I hope everybody feels more prepared about the F1 season now. And if you clicked on this episode and were like, I don't care about F1, maybe you do a little bit now. So Yeah, and if you don't, then sorry that we just wasted 40 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
So,
But if you don't like it, you're a beheaded.
wow. What a way to end the episode. Jeez. That's rough. All right.
Because
It's the best racing.
Oh, wow. Save that hot take right until the end. Yeah, say something disrespectful about NASCAR before we go.
NASCAR's just always turning. Oh, except like that one circuit, but also yeah, it's like really trash. It's like all you do is, you know what I'm saying? Just constantly like 300 laps of that. Who wants to watch that? Nothing happens. The only interesting part is when there's a crash. That's how you know the sport is bad. When something bad happens, that's when
like I say,
There you go. That was good.
once it's always you're always engaged.
That was a good roast. Appreciate that. So,
anytime.
all right. This has been episode number 28 of season 2. Bennett is doing a shush, and
It's
I don't.
Mewing. All the way down below, you're
Bennett's
Mewing.
throwing gang signs with his.
What?
I don't know what's going on with that.
What's your Mewing streak?
Suburban gang signs. What am I? What?
You're restricted.
My what streak?
Yeah, that's all you had to do. You put this on the
I don't have.
on the roof of your mouth.
Like, that's all.
I don't have any streak. 0.
And this kid's all on. This is all on. Well, usually it's not my.
This one talks stuff.
All right, episode 28. I don't know what to do with that streak. What's yours?
Sayonara.
What's your streak?
Well, I just said it ended. It was like a good 5 seconds.
Oh, wait, so it's without? Or...
Stop talking because you can't mute and talk at the same time. Like, try it.
Gotcha. No, I refuse. This is my podcast.
That's why you use this.
You don't get to tell me what
Just do
to
it as
do.
you're muting. Because you do this when you're muting. Because you're like, don't talk to me. I'm muting.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
like, I can't talk on it.
Okay, what F1 driver do you think would be the best at mewing?
Well, they all have really good, like,
Neck and jaw lines. So
Yeah, because of
actually,
the
like,
the G-force.
there's like 6 GGs and like
Mhm.
the turn stuff. It'll be the best. Not actually happen because he's got like the circle head, you know what I'm saying? So like his jawline goes like all the way.
So he's just the best at everything.
Or like maybe Lando Norris. He's got a nice jawline. Also, he's got the curly hair too. So.
Mm. Oh, does curly hair affect it?
No, it just looks forward. And Daniel Ricciardo is like the one that everyone thinks is the best looking.
So, you know,
Okay.
it'd be
So that's
best at Mewing.
top 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you
Probably
want to
Mewing.
pick your fantasy team based on who's the best at mewing,
Based on the
Mewing.
it would be Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and who's the third one? Ricardo?
Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricardo.
I have him on my fantasy team. So I've got 2 out of the 3. Take that.
I've got 1 out of it.
So my team is better than yours.
Now it might
because of
be.
that. Yeah, you're going to have to reassess.
Did you use your money as efficiently?
Did you use money as efficiently?
We'll find out. I think I
I
did.
don't think so. I only
think I
had
did.
No.
And you have like 100 million or something.
I had 0.8 left, which I'm going to invest. So,
That's right. I don't think you have.
I'll figure it out a way.
All right, you
Yeah.
you do that. You do that.
Yep. All right, not the way I expected the episode to end, but we learned a new strategy for picking an F1 fantasy team. So I guess it's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got any
yeah.
last words on it?
Make sure you watch the race in whatever 5 days it is.
'Cause it's the
Or the highlights of it afterwards.
So
Or that. And yeah, make sure you enjoy. That's the point of racing.
Mhm.
It's to enjoy it.
There you go.
Yep.
episode 28. Thank you again, Bennett. It's been quite a while since Bennett's been on the podcast, so I highly recommend go way back and look for the last time Bennett was on the podcast. I think it was like 2 years ago. Go way back in the archives.
Hey guys, I'm Bennett.
Yeah, go back and find it. But Bennett, if they go back and listen to old episodes, what do you think Parker and I sound like?
Well, the first one, the OG one, you guys are like, it's not, I'm Owen, and I'm Parker.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and guess how old we were? Guess how old we were when we started All Sports All the Time? Your age. Almost exactly. We were freshmen in high school.
So like, when I go back and watch this, like, my voice gets sound so high pitched.
Maybe.
My voice gets sound even higher pitched on that episode, because I was like, oh.
Yeah. Wait,
I'll tell them the title. F1 drivers?
Compared to pulling water or something.
F1, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's F1 drivers.
I'm
As...
pretty sure I was on another one. Maybe that's my only one.
Oh, I'll find it real quick, just so we can confirm.
Yeah, it's like F1 drivers that sparkling water.
Yep, F1 drivers has sparkling water. July 25th, 2022. So a year and a half ago.
Yo, put a clip of me saying something
at the end of this.
No, people got to go. I'll link that episode in the description. So
in the description.
After this, if you want to go,
my glorious self, then make sure to check that out.
Yeah, if you liked this episode and you want some more, I will link that episode in the description so you guys can go watch that. The last time we talked about F1. So, yeah. All right, actually ending the episode now. Thank you, Bennett. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to... What?
At any time.
Oh, anytime. Sweet. Just, yeah. I was in the middle of pitching to subscribe.
Oh, sorry.
Just restart.
Okay. What's up, you guys? No. Please remember to like and subscribe and follow us on social media. Those of you watching on YouTube, we've got a new... There we go. We've got a new feature on our screen. Got a QR code so you can follow us on Instagram, because that is where the most content goes. You're not pointing at it, Bennett. You're pointing at me. Nope. And then you physically cannot cross to point. I appreciate the effort though.
I'm crossing right now.
So, yeah, follow us all social media platforms. There's additional content there aside from what we have on YouTube. So, yeah, and then also check out Lap Family Creative. We've got a lot of Philadelphia athlete graphic tees on there. So yeah, go check that out. We've got some cool shirts with Phillies spring training starting. Phillies ramping up. Baseball season's coming. You can get some Phillies graphic tees for the season. So yeah, Bennett, of the ones that you've seen, I don't know if you've been on the website recently and seen all the ones that are on there, but of the ones that you've seen, which one would you buy?
Well, some of them is like Jalen Hurts, Aaron Nola,
Bryce Harper, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. Recently put up JT Realmuto and Trey Turner. Some more Phillies ones.
I really love these shirts. They're like my favorite shirt in the entire world. Make sure you buy one. Anyway, I would probably choose Joel Embiid. Just Joel Embiid.
That was definitely the coolest one.
So
Joel Embiid's pretty much him.
Well, and he's injured right now, but when he's healthy, so yeah, go buy an Embiid 1, 2. No way, it scrolled through right when I said that. Go buy an Embiid 1. It's gone now. To match with Bennett, and also just to support Joel Embiid as he recovers from his injury. So
yes, and support Owen.
That too. This has been All Sports All the Time. Yeah, exactly. This has been All Sports All the Time. Thank you guys for watching, listening, however you consumed this. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Maybe Parker and Luke will be back. Maybe they won't be. We'll find out.